Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Friday, April 25th, after Game 3 of Celtics versus Magic. There's an alarm going off at Kia Center, so I apologize in advance. I don't know what it is, how to stop it, when it'll stop, or if it'll stop.
It's the butt-ass
But the
alarm.
Celtics lost. I know. Celtics lose 95-93. Rough game for both teams. This was an ugly basketball game. It was almost a 3-hour basketball game. Magic bring the series to 2-1. Paolo and Franz have great games. The Celtics do not. Tatum returns from his wrist. He actually played really well, minus the turnovers, which him and Jaylen both struggled with mightily throughout the night. Brutal game, ugly game, annoying game to watch in terms of the stoppages and the fouls and the reviews and everything into making this probably the longest basketball game of the year. But a lot to talk about, so we'll do just that. Lose Game 3.
You know, the Celtics had. It's been a really long time since I've said this to you, Jack. The Celtics had one theme that they had to pass today. All they had to do was not be the absolute worst, and they would be up 3-0. And here they are up 2-1. Now, were there bright spots in this game? Absolutely. The way they finished the first half was like championship level, closing the half, putting a stamp on it. Jaylen Brown makes a big three to put him up 10 going into the break. To this point, Tatum has gone berserk. He had a big second quarter at 8 straight points at one time. And it was like, oh my God, does this wrist thing even like exist? This doesn't feel real. He's can't miss. Best shooting he's had from distance in quite some time. Then the third quarter happens. Tatum comes up, makes this big three. And it's like, all right, like we're dialed in, buckle in, going to be a fun quarter. And then it got worse. They scored in the third quarter 11 total points was the number, right? And after the Tatum three, they only scored 8 points. And 3 of those points came on Tatum free throws after getting fouled on the three-pointer. And even with that, even with the terrible scoring output, they still do a pretty good job defensively. I'm going to complain plenty in this video. I promise you, the defensive effort is not going to be one of those things. I thought they really worked their asses off on defense. Orlando makes it easy because they're not very good. They were battling on defense, and then they wouldn't finish the job. Orlando missed 15 shots from the start of the third quarter to the 6:30 mark in the fourth quarter. They got 8 offensive rebounds on those 15 shots. That's over half of the misses they got the ball back. That can't happen when you're trying to control a playoff game and then also trying to climb out of the hole that you put yourself in because you were so bad for the previous however many minutes. I don't want to keep ranting. I feel bad because this has been like two minutes of me just complaining. The last thing I'll say before we can kick it back and forth is there were offensive possessions, several, where it was guy dribbles the ball, guy doesn't move, ball doesn't move, off-ball guys don't move, and that was the offense. And they just let Orlando bully them into just being the Mitch McConnell, like, bro hasn't moved in 40 minutes meme. Like, that was the offense that they were playing. It was unbelievably bad.
Celtics offense was bad, especially in that third quarter. I also think you absolutely need to give the Magic credit. Their defense was fucking incredible in this game.
Yes.
Like one of the best defenses we've seen played against the Celtics team. In that third quarter in particular, like I remember, and they got called for a few of them as fouls because most of them were fouls, but like they did a great job of the Celtics go to pick and roll to try to get a mismatch. They step up, stop the Tatum drive / whatever, but then also immediately switch back and cut off the roll. Like every pick and roll the Celtics ran in the third quarter was no, you're not like gone, not going to get it. We'll jump around. We'll talk about stuff. Doesn't help that Kristaps is a negative on the floor. Like genuinely, the Celtics were better off if he didn't play this game. That he was that bad, and he was not the one on the injury report. He was horrendous. In the first 2 games, he was bad, but you could at least say, oh, the defense was pretty good. Like, he actually played really good defense. Defense was awful. There was a play at the end of this game. Franz Wagner pointed. He's like Babe Ruth calling a shot. Wendell Carter, come up here. Brought Kristaps into the screen to get him on him. Like, they bullied. They went at Kristaps, and it worked. Like, he couldn't guard on the perimeter, and the Magic exposed it. Kristaps was terrible. Offense was terrible, and the Magic get a bunch of credit for that. It just felt like they were stunned by the physical defense and everything the Magic were doing. And we'll talk about the physicality and other things more throughout. But you can go to wherever you want from this little whatever rant. The buzzer finally stopped, wherever the alarm was. I was like thrown off at how silent it was. I just gotten used to it. But yeah, Kristaps bad. Celtics offense was bad. Magic defense, fucking incredible.
Man, it starts with Orlando just decided that they were not going to roll over and die when they had the chance to do it. Like, Celtics had a chance to come out in the second half and like do a kill shot, like go up 3-0. They could have came out like the Tatum 3 felt like it might have been the start of it. Then Jaylen gets the offensive foul, which I think was the right call, but I always think those are kind of tough where the guy's face just happens to be where you're trying to go up with the ball. But I think it was more physical than it should have been, so he gets, the whistle. But that would have been, they were up 13 and it would have felt really controlled. And then they stopped getting stops. The offense goes stale. They didn't get enough from the other guys in this game. Like you mentioned, Kristaps, he was really, really bad. And I agree with you. He was played off the floor, literally. He was not in the closing lineup until the very last possession. All right, I'm going to talk about the last possession because I don't think you
Sure.
have. Well, you probably have been online because in the press conferences there's downtime.
I wrote about it. There should have been more time on the clock. That was ridiculous. But yes.
So the Celtics, I actually agree with what they did on defense, by the way, where there was like a 4-second gap between the game clock and the shot clock. They played straight up. They didn't foul. They get the stop. They get a rebound with like 0.7 second left, like whatever, like not a lot of time. They call timeout. The clock is 0.3. The officials don't put time back on. They don't look to put time back on. Thought it was weird. I feel like there's like almost every time, like they adjust the clock. The Celtics then inbound the ball. Derek White doesn't really have any options where he has anything to do but throw the ball towards the rim. Like Tatum was open, but like he wasn't facing the basket, so it would have been tough to get a shot off. Like it was very limited. There's a clip of like Porzingis getting position and then gets an arm around his neck. Listen, valid, not valid. More time should have been on. More time shouldn't have been on. You just shouldn't have been in that position. Like, I don't really think you deserve a break at that point. People love to go online after losses like this when it does come down to the wire, but they forget how it came down to the wire and why it was that way. And there were just so many things that went wrong in this game. It was infuriating. The turnovers were fucking brutal. Some of them were just unforced. It was just lazy. Like there's one that Tatum and Porzingis run like a pick and Porzingis goes to the free throw line, not even like a roll. And Tatum goes to pass on the ball, and the defender contests the pass, might get a hand on it, can't really tell. But the pass is lackluster. Porzingis doesn't really come to the ball, and Orlando is just playing at a more intense level at this part of the game, and it's a steal. There were so many just careless plays. I think the thing that really bothered me the most was just the offensive possessions where nothing is happening. Orlando's picking up the ball handler at the logo, and it's like the Celtics have no idea what to do. Nobody moves. Nothing happens. They end up taking a difficult shot. How does that happen repeatedly? I get like the first time they blitz you or whatever, and you're not really ready for it. You gotta do something.
Yeah.
Something has to happen.
Yeah.
They were going up to set screens and they were getting like pushed on the way there. They just kind of give up. They'd be like, maybe I don't need to go set that screen. It's okay.
I mean, I will say, like, from a obviously it's inexcusable. They didn't play good enough. That is the end. That is the bottom line. From a human perspective, right? Like, I'll tell you a silly example that'll play into this. Like, when I play pickup, right? I like to shoot threes, and
yeah,
I played with like Noah's roommate, some other people a couple weeks ago, and we now have a joke that I know how Tatum feels when he takes stupid shots, because it's objectively stupid of me to take a three when I can get whatever I want in the post. But I still do it because I get lazy sometimes and I like shooting threes. So I understand what Tatum is going through when he takes some of these stupid shots. And this is not a Tatum example I'm about to talk about, but that's the same context. If I was getting fouled every possession and pushed around off the ball, I'd probably get a little lazy and annoying too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just said it there. Like, they're getting pushed off the ball. They're like, oh, I'm not going to set the screen. It's a pain in the ass. You're getting hacked the whole way up the floor. Like, from a purely human level, like, I'm sorry. I know you don't want to talk about it. These refs were terrible, and it's not the reason the Celtics lost the game.
I thought the refs were bad too, but
You say that again?
I thought the refs were bad too, but I don't think it's why they lost.
Yes. Agree, 100% not. They lost because they were unable to adjust and adapt on the fly in the third quarter. The turnovers were bad. Kristaps was horrendous and lazy and led to a bunch of the Jays turnovers. Jaylen lost the ball on a bunch of drives where he was getting physical. I don't know. Before we continue about that, I need to tell you about Prize Picks because I know I'm going to go on a long rant and I want to tell you about it now before I start doing that. Prize Picks is the best place for real money sports action. We lost our Prize Picks today, but we do show, so make sure to check it out. Come with us. It's baseball season. It's basketball playoff season, so you can be on Prize Picks, getting ready to cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineups. Points, rebounds, assists, doesn't matter. Anything you want. Adam, just pick more or less. Excuse me, for your shot to win up to 2,000x your cash. And baseball, if you want basketball in the same lineup, you can throw it in there. Say you want a guy for RBI, say you want a basketball guy for blocks, you can throw them in the same lineup, all the same for your chance to win. And yeah, like I said, Sam and I do it on the pregame show before every result. Make sure to tune in, check it out. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. What I was going to say is this Magic team is a dirty team. Actually, at this point, I'm going to say it. Dirty basketball team. Dirty players making dangerous plays. Jaylen was laughing about it after the game. Like, this is not basketball anymore. Like, if they want to fight to see who goes to second round, we can fight. There have been 3 basketball games, 3 flagrant fouls, 5 different Celtics injured. Like, it's not a coincidence anymore. You have game 1, Tatum getting pulled out of the sky and sent crashing to the ground. Then you have Kristaps getting elbowed in the face, whether or not Goga meant it. Still happened. Still got elbowed in the face. KCP in the first game before the one pulling him down, sending him to the ground in the first quarter, second quarter. And in this game, Cole Anthony tugs Jaylen Brown to the ground and sends him flying. Wendell Carter elbows Derek White in the face going for an out of bounds call. Chokeholds Kristaps Porzingis. Like, the way we talked about the Thunder earlier in the season, where it is they're so physical and foul every possession to where the refs can't call it. That is what's happening times 10. Like it is crazy at this point. And honestly, like, it's making it hard for the refs to do anything about it because they are fouling on every possession. So what are you going to do? Every time they went up to the ball to contest a screen, it was a foul. Every time. And I think the frustrations is the Celtics aren't doing that. And so the Celtics are getting the normal whistle for when they foul. It's a foul. But then you can't call every Magic foul. So, like, I get the frustrations. It's not the main reason the Celtics lost. They lost because their offense went to shit. They turned the ball over a million times. But it's impossible to ignore the bullshit. As much as it's hard to, like, you don't want to make it about that because it's not about that. Not about that. It's all about Celtics. They're getting fouled every possession. Every fucking possession. You can go back and watch this game. The Celtics are getting fouled. And the Magic, on top of that, every once in a while, are throwing in a dirty play. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis and Derek White have all gotten hurt in 3 games. 3 games. 2 of them to the point where they're on the injury report. Like, it's not a coincidence anymore. Like, this is crazy. They're killing, like, hurting guys. It's crazy. Like, and you can say it. I am not one to come on here and say refs, right? Like, that is not my job.
No,
I don't do that. I like to talk about basketball. They're fouling every possession. Like, we're sitting up here watching Al Horford get called for a foul on the trap where him and Pritchard were trapping Franz where he barely touched him. And then 3 plays later, Cole Anthony pushes Jayson Tatum on a layup and one and doesn't, like, they don't get the foul call. Like, you hate 3-point foul calls, and there were 2 in this game. Both of them were just so blatant. Like,
yeah, I mean, I was watching it.
Like, Paolo Banchero, Jayson Tatum shot at 3. and Paolo Banchero just fucking elbowed him in the stomach. Like, comes a point where it's like something's got to change, and I don't know what's going to happen in Game 4. I think all this is going to make Game 4 much more interesting. Both of those should have been flagrants, by the way. Both of them were landing space fouls, and Cole Anthony's maybe should have been a flagrant too, because there was no basketball intent on that play. He just sent him crashing. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what Game 4 is going to look like. Jaylen Brown said they're going to fight. I opened the press conference with Jaylen. I go, Jaylen, they upped their physicality in this game. He just laughs at me. I'm like, it's their foul. It's crazy. Like there's no avoiding it. There's no avoiding it in the discussion and just talking about the Celtics. We'll obviously talk about everything that went on, but it is impossible to avoid the fact that the Magic have been a dirty team this series and are fouling every time the Celtics have the ball. Like that, you can't avoid that as a part of the conversation.
So, not to I was laughing. Obviously, you were funny. That was a good rant. But the way you presented, like, they're fouling every time, and then every once in a while they throw in a dirty play, all I could think about was playing MLB The Show and, like, just, like, every once in a while they throw a changeup. That's like their changeup is the yank Jaylen down and dislocate his finger. This is something they're going to have to deal with, though. And I know that's like the point in, Game 4 is going to be like the revelation of what's going to happen. Like, kind of on the edge of my seat to see what happens. Like, we're going to see some Torrey Craig. Is he going to go in there and, like, maybe hit somebody? I wouldn't. I'm not saying I'm for it. Like, I don't really want to see a fight, but, like, I wouldn't hate throwing him in there just to make them feel like they can't really mess with the Celtics. Like, the Celtics got pushed around in this game. Their big guys really, besides Horford, didn't do a good enough job, like, responding. Like, Luke got thrown to the ground a couple times. He got a bloody nose. Like, I mean, it happens. But, like, when he was in the game, he wasn't doing the regular things that he usually does to impact the game because he just wasn't able to. Like, Wendell Carter was a motherfucker in this game. He had a great game because he just said, I don't really care. Like, I'm just going to throw people down or, like, fight with everything that I have for offensive rebounds. And if that's the tone that is being set for these games, then I guess you just kind of have to, like, respond. Like, you have to join. And I think, honestly, to put the more positive part of this in light, I think that's kind of how they got back into the game. Is they stopped caring about getting bumped or getting, hand checked or pushed up on the screens, like whatever it was that really slowed them down. And they just did what they do. And then all of a sudden the game's tied. Like that. Like I that. Mean, you tweeted about it. You were like, the Celtics were dead in the water, and all of a sudden they're back. And it was just, I think they just were like, all right, like, this is what it is. We have to accept it. We have to either match it or just continue to do what we're going to do. And that's how this series is going to go. Now, I want to talk about your point about, like, were the refs bad today? The reason why the refs were bad today is because they let it get to a point where they had no control. Like, they legitimately had no control in this game. The inadvertent whistle, correct call, was so bad because they were so clearly out of control. They were on edge. Wrong. They were wrong, right? But the reason why that happened, the reason why you felt the officials make their presence known in this game is the same reason why, like, KCP hasn't made any shots in this series, or Porzingis has been really bad, because it's been bad, and they're like, holy shit, we have to get our shit together. We have to get right. We have to get right. We have to get right. And they just keep making it worse. And that's what the officials did. I mean, the Celtics were in the bonus with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I don't think that it even mattered. I don't think they got another whistle after that. The Magic got in the bonus with like 5 minutes left. Like, it was getting called physically both ways. I just think they didn't know what to do when they're like, man, we can't, like, really call fouls every time with them in the bonus, can we? But to your point about the Celtics playing normal defense, there were points late in this game where they tried to turn up their intensity. I think it was Franz. Franz gets a defensive rebound. Pritchard goes after him. Horford goes after him. They have a standing trap, and it's like one of those where like all three guys are kind of flailing around because the ball handler doesn't know what to do, and he's maybe going to lose the ball or travel or something. And the defenders are just trying to like keep their hands in his sight and keep their hands in front of the ball so he can't get rid of it. And it's called a foul. And I don't necessarily think it was a bad call, but in the context of the game, it didn't really match the rest of what was happening. So the Celtics tried to match the energy, and then they ended up giving not like the refs didn't end up giving, but by matching the energy, they give a Magic team who at that point had struggled to string together good offensive possessions 2 consecutive trips to the free throw line in crunch time. Bad.
Yeah, man. Listen, going back. So I had a bunch of thoughts and I wanted to go back to it. I think I'm lagging a little bit, so bear with me. The Wi-Fi here is not great. Wendell Carter. You talked about Wendell Carter. You talked about Luke. You said Wendell Carter is a motherfucker. Yes.
He was.
And talked about Luke not like always reciprocating that. Also, yes, I get it. What do you want him to do? You want him to fucking hug him too? Do you want him to pull him to the ground too? The Celtics haven't played. Like, that's not their brand. They're not going to do that. They're not going to like, and maybe they will in game 4. But holy shit, man, he was a motherfucker because he was playing dirty the whole night. Like, that's why he's a motherfucker. He pulled Luke to the ground and sent him crashing once, and Luke just ran back on defense and there was no call. Like, what are we doing? He chokeholded Kristaps in the last play. It's a dirty team. Those are fouls. It's not he's a motherfucker. Well, it is, but it's because it shouldn't be allowed. And then all the way back to like the part of the game where the Celtics finally managed to come back. Yes, it did look like they turned up the heat, but they also finally got, and Tatum talked about this after the game, they finally got a couple stops so they could run. The whole third quarter, the Magic were like being physical, stopping, and then scoring. So then they could be physical again because they were playing half-court defense set up. And so when they finally started making a comeback, it's because they got a couple stops and they ran in transition. Jaylen ran and got to the rim. Derek White ran and got an open three. Like they were able to get out and play with a little bit of speed because they got some stops. This is just like what a disaster mess of a game from everything. Not a disaster is Game Time for all your ticketing needs. Make sure to check it out. It's the best place for all your tickets this baseball season, this basketball playoff season. So make sure to go over there. Let me share my screen so I can show you some of the wonderful features over at Game Time. I am in Orlando right now, so I think it'll set it to some Orlando stuff. So let's check out the Atlanta United at Orlando City soccer game, which you can get into for just $8 if you find yourself in Orlando. My favorite part Game Time is you can see the exact view from your seat right here. So if you click on the seat you're interested in buying, you can see right here exactly what you'll see from that seat. The fire emoji or emblem means it's the cheapest deal in the stadium, so you can check that. You can toggle on and off the features for showing you the full price so you don't get surprised at checkout with any hidden fees. On top of that, it also has what's it called? Super deals, which means it tells you what it views as the best value deals and last minute deals, which is what I was trying to think of. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. It's got all those things. It's not just sports. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Yeah, man. I just like I would need to go back and watch it again. It was just impossible for the refs to do anything once it got to the point where the Magic were allowed to be as physical as they wanted. And the Celtics did not respond well. Again, like I truly don't want this to turn into the fouls for the reason the Celtics lost. But it's impossible to ignore the mental drain it takes on you, right? Like as much as these are professional athletes, as much as these are guys you expect them to live to a certain standard, they're also people, right? And if you're Jaylen and you get injured, he said after the game he fully dislocated his index finger on that play. Like he got hurt. A guy threw him to the ground and he dislocated his finger. I'm gonna be upset, especially when I'm getting called for like the Al Horford foul call you mentioned. Like I'm gonna be pissed. I'm not gonna be happy. It's gonna be hard for me to focus on shit when they're fouling me every possession, when they're elbowing Derek White in the face, when they're throwing Luke Cornett to the ground. Like it's going to be hard, and you got to be better. You can't turn the ball over that much. Kristaps was bad. He was out of position the whole night. Sam Hauser has been a complete, nothing in this entire series. He hasn't been able to make an impact. Pritchard didn't really get the chance to play a lot tonight. Jaylen was good, then he was bad. The Jays turned the ball over a million times. The physicality got to them mentally. They were taken out of the game because they were so angry at the refs and the Magic. That is what happened. It sucks because you want to talk about the basketball, but objectively, that is what happened. They were not focused. They were not in it because they were pissed off. You could see at every possession, they were angry. They were just playing mad. Jaylen Brown, halfway through, it was Jayson Tatum's celebration was holding his wrist. They're mad. They're pissed off.
The wrist
the way
thing
this
was
is
fire.
happening. Yeah, because they're mad.
I like the celebration.
There
was a stretch.
What a clusterfuck.
Like you mentioned, that Jaylen was just like, fuck it. he was just like, watch this. He went, I think it was actually late in the game when they needed baskets too, and he was just like, all right, I'm going to the basket. He went up on, I think he might have went up on Carter or Isaac, one of them, and they just blocked him. And then Pritchard goes underneath on the next possession. It's just like, what is happening? Why? How does Tatum not touch the ball? I hope in a week we're just all whatever, series over. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I feel better rather than worse. Because again, my take still stands. This is one of the worst stretches I've seen them play, and they still almost won / should have won / people feel like they got robbed. So yeah, I think you should feel good about that. But at the same time, I also wouldn't be shocked on Sunday if Orlando just came out with all this confidence now. I don't think offensively they really can put it together, but they may just feel great about what they've. Offensively, they are still bad. That's the thing about this, and you nailed this before the series. This series may change my perspective on how heavily I'm defense can take you so far. Can it? When you, because the Celtics were so bad.
It's an incredible defensive team. Yeah.
They were so bad in the 18 minutes, and yet they tied the game. They tied the game at the end. It was no problem. They were never completely out of it. I think that's what made it even more frustrating. If this was a 15-point game and you're just fuck, man, I guess this is just how it's going to go, and Orlando's making everything, it's one thing. But the Celtics were down 3, down 5, down 3, down 5, down 6. Then it goes up to 10, and then they push back. But it was never out of reach. And the door was beat. The Magic were holding the door wide open. Were they going to punch them if they stepped through the door? Yeah, probably. But they were holding the door wide open. And they were please, step through. Get across the finish line. We're begging you. The Celtics were you might punch us, so we're not going to do it. But thank you. And that's how it went. And it was so frustrating to watch in the second half. It was fucking brutal. It's brutal.
Man. All this talk. The Magic played great defense. They were awesome. They also shot 41% from the field and 25% from three. They were still ass. If you score 101 points, you win. That's the game. That's what you got to do. And the Celtics couldn't do that in this one. And they got bullied. They got fouled on every possession. They wilted underneath that. The other thing is part of the Magic's physicality that they use, to talk back to the actual basketball for a moment. The Celtics shot 27 threes in this game. Sam, do you know how many times they shot fewer than 33s in the regular season?
1, 2.
Not one time.
Not many.
Not a single time. They didn't shoot under 33s one time in the regular season. The Magic held them to 27 attempts in this game. Every time they had a chance to shoot a three, Magic were there. They were there. They were pressing up on pick and roll, so they couldn't get threes off. The only threes really the Celtics managed to get in this game were I noticed Horford get a few catch and shoots, which was good. Derek White's were almost all contested or forced. Tatum's were almost all contested or forced. Jaylen only took 2. Hauser got one. You want to know the indicator that the Magic played great 3-point defense? Pritchard didn't attempt a single 3 in 25 minutes. Not one. Didn't attempt. Didn't even get one up. So give them credit for that. Their physicality was good in that case. But man, like this was such a slog to watch. You could just tell that everything, it was all draining the Celtics like constantly. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh my God, the Magic have life now. Could Game 4 get interesting? Absolutely, right? The series basketball teams, that's why they're in the NBA, right? Everyone's good. But we did this last year with Miami. We did this last year with Cleveland. They win a game 2. You're like, oh fuck. You got to have some nuance to it. If you want to really talk about it from like a grand whatever perspective, I feel like most people were probably picking Celtics in 5 anyways. And if there was a game to drop, you come home, or the Magic come home for the first time in the series in front of their home crowd. That's usually like, that is a natural progression for a game dropped by the top seed, right? But yeah, man, very curious to see what happens on Sunday, because I think we could see some techs handed out. And you know what's worse? Cole Anthony complaining about the fucking foul call when he got the flagrant. What are you doing, bro? Obviously. And Paolo complaining when he got called for a foul call on Tatum. You elbowed him in the stomach. Like, if you're gonna play physical and toe the line and get called for like the obvious ones, don't fucking complain about it. Like, obviously it's a foul. You're just mad you got called this time. Like, what are we doing?
Well, I think that's part of it too. Is like they're essentially being told by trial that it's okay what they're doing, and then when it gets called, they're surprised. So I think there just needs to be like a standard that's set with the calls, but whatever, man. Like, this was a shit game. It was a fucking brutal watch in the second half. I can't believe that they almost won. Like, they do this thing where they play terrible and then they rope you in. They do it like once, like every 3 months now, because they're just really, really good, but they used to do this a lot more. And you're just like, man, I just can't believe they didn't get across the finish line. It was good to see Tatum looking healthy. Like, very happy that he was able to have the game he had despite this wrist thing. I think we can all feel a lot better about that. I'd actually like started to talk myself into like, oh man, like if they go to the second round and he doesn't play, like they could lose in the second round. Like I was, you know how it goes when you don't really know what's going on with an injury and you just gotta have conversations with yourself. That's what I was doing. I was like, wouldn't that would actually be the worst case thing, is if they lost to the Knicks. Be awful.
Yeah. Magic also dropped confetti for this game.
Yeah, it was sad. Very sad.
You want to hear double sad? Magic have 2 jerseys hanging right above me in the rafters.
It's Shaq and Dwight.
I want to know. No Dwight. Not yet.
No Dwight. It's Shaq and it's not Penny, because T-Mac wore one.
Nope.
Am I going to guess
number
this?
If you want to guess the player. I see it right here. It's right above me.
What number is it?
Number 6.
6. Oh, it's Bill Russell.
Nope.
No?
You want me to read you what it says on the back of the jersey? 6th man.
Oh, Jesus.
Retired in 1990, a year after the franchise was founded, to show respect to their fans.
I saw somebody tweet tonight that was like, there aren't even any Magic fans on this site to argue with. But good thing they retired the 6-man jersey that's retired, by the way, when there's like, what did Noah say? A fuck ton of Celtics fans in there before the game.
Yeah. I will say the Magic did it get filled out. Like, that was like 30 minutes for the game. It did fill out. There were a lot. It more
felt like it was
a pretty good crowd.
A real playoff game. Yeah,
they were a good crowd. But 6-man is funny. This I'm gonna say it again. The Magic team. This is a dirty team. Like playing dirty basketball. They're trying to injure the Celtics. They've success. Not trying. They have successfully injured the Celtics, and we'll see what happens moving forward. I expect a very fun physical game on Sunday. We'll see what happens there. We talked about it briefly. I don't know if you want to go into it again. We can wrap if you want to. We said it after the first couple of games, even more now, not the Kristaps series. Truly should not be on the floor, cannot be on the floor. It has not been good. Jaylen is still clearly hurt. He's like grimacing out there on his knee. He doesn't look great from that aspect. He's playing good basketball, but like in terms of how actually his injury looks, he looks like he's laboring. Drew was obviously out for this game too, just to round out some injury stuff. They're currently taking down the Magic court because they had to move a Mary J. Blige concert from tonight to tomorrow because of this game. So they're breaking stuff down. But yeah, man, I don't think I have anything else. I don't know if you else you want to say before we get out of here. But
No,
I'll, okay.
very
All
sad.
right. Well, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know what you think. I'm sure you will. And I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment. Like Jack said, tell us what you thought of Game 3. Tell us how bad the refs screwed them. Because you know that's all anyone's going to talk about. All right, the show's over. I don't have to keep fucking saying that. You can also subscribe and hit the bell because we're here every single day. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the one after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between. To keep you up to date with all things Celtics, you can find the two of us streaming pregame live a half hour before tip-off here and on CLNS for the playoffs. How about that? Hanging out with the chat, having a nice chat with them, doing prize picks, typically playing some GeoGuessr. It's a lot of fun. So come hang out for it. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. All pods are there. Game recaps are there. All you got to do is follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You know you got something to say tonight. Tell us about the 0.7 seconds they should have had. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JackSmonNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.